Galactic Travelers. I had a video earlier that came out and it was really sketchy, so I'm praying that this one is not hitting this crazy current where I'm at and it's coming through clear. If not, then I'll come back on and do it again. When I started this channel, and it was 3 months after I activated in May 2017, and I'm an AB negative bloodline. And when I first activated it, I thought everyone activated like me, but I was wrong. And I didn't, since I was adopted and everything, I didn't have anyone around me teaching me about spirituality or anything like that. In fact, my program, even my soul program, was set up to make sure that there wasn't anybody around me teaching me things about spirituality. Now I know, because then I wouldn't trust my intuition about it because I would have known too much, if that makes sense. Now, when I activated, I didn't know where and how the hell all this information came in. Like, it just, I can't describe it. I was in my backyard. Now I'm getting into RH negatives because I'm explaining this to explain the blood. I was in my backyard and I had had a series of major tower moments because I was coming out of all my stuff because my energy was going so high is what was happening. Okay, and that's what RH negative blood is. But just follow me. When I activated, my energy went so high that everything around me, like, it wasn't that it was moving, it was all of a sudden, and I was being made aware how it was affecting my energy. Because it was like all of a sudden I had all this energy that I never even knew I had before. And so when it activated, I just woke up speaking light language. I knew I had to plant a new earth. Like, I've just known so much of this all at once. It was like a big balloon drop, and it didn't stop. It kept there. It was May, every May, and then there were certain days that I remember. January 6th was a really big one because it's evidently when somebody else passed away in the lines, or because it's a consciousness bubble, if you will, that finally your energy gets into, and you just kind of have all this information, and then you have to figure it out in your mind, and then your body has to raise to it. This is what everyone forgets, this part, that integration part, and then your reality starts moving with it. Now, I explained all of that to start talking about RH negative blood and blood, period. Because I came back on, I know it's midnight and it's late, but this is a really good conversation to have, and I thank you, Deborah, for asking me this question, because she just posted on the last video asking about RH negative. Now, there's only 3 blood types, and then 2 blood types make a fourth, the AB, right? So you have A, you have B, and you have O, and then you have AB, which is super duper rare because it's the culmination of A and B in one body, which was made. Because when we start talking about blood, we have to go back. And see, I have this argument with people a lot, and it's so funny to me because most people do not want to, they don't even want to put themselves in 4 groups with other humans. They will sit there and argue with me about energy and frequency, and they'll know all about your physical energy, but they will argue with me there's no commonality between the blood types. Well, you're on Earth. And what's special about Earth? What's special about Earth is that you're in an area of space where it has water. Where's water made from? Humans. Where's salt water made from? Crying, literally, in a bubble. Literally. It's why it's an anomaly, because we have the human body to help make it, literally. A was so you're in a water, right? And then you have blood that is a coagulant that is inside your body. Here's the thing, you only had red blood until recently. You're getting your blue blood now if your veins are hurting, because see, blue blood was only made available to who? Babies. And then it wasn't even made available to us when we went negative. You were chosen if you were going to be negative or positive. See, this I'm getting into it. I'm going to get into it. It's World War II shit. Rh negative blood was formed in World War II. Now let's get back. So we have A. A's from animal line. If you carry a lot of A energy, then you could even be from dragon line or whatever, but you come from Hyades, because in the very first ascension on the planet, because we've been in this one bubble for 1 million years, over 1 million years, the very first ascension on the planet, you either went to Cygnus, which we call the angelic realm, which is Aquarius, the master decan degree of Aquarius, or you went to Hyades, which we would call the fallen angels, which we would call 3 to 5 degrees Gemini. You're in that consciousness, you're in a body. So, A, you're going to have more animalistic intuition, and you're going to have more, like, because I have both, right? So, like, I don't hear things. I don't hear loud things. I don't see crazy visions. They're like, it's more like dimensional grayscales that now I've gotten really good at seeing. That's your A line. Now, A is Adam, and it's formed from 3. B was formed from A. A makes, if you go look at it, please go look at it on the internet. Look at the blood cells. So A makes little antennas, little receptors to pick up intuition. It's what you feel your gut instinct with. Basically, if you got little antennas that are attached to all the other A's, and this is why the ashes and the dead, this all gets into it, because when they die, they're not gone. It's ash. It's still there. It's salt. You're still connected. But it doesn't like B. It makes antigens to B, but it's got these little receptors. Okay. B is very mental energy, highly, highly mental. And B is, there's not very many left on the planet that have B as well. It's becoming extremely rare in its purest form. B is what you would consider more of your, if you wanted to put it in, like, if you wanted to try to put it in categories, which you shouldn't do, but just by mind's sake of comparison, B would be more of your Asian lines, very, 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 very smart, very, 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 very mental, because you're attached to all the B's. You're attached to that B line, which is beta, but it is beta, because the B's, they might be wicked smart, but they're got to get a little bit of A going on, just like the A's got to get a little bit of B going on. This is where the AB formed over time, a lot of time, a lot of time, because that you all talk to each other no matter what, because you're on this same frequency pattern, because your blood's at the same frequency. So there's only 4 frequencies down here attached to human blood. Now, the frequencies that we talk about when we talk about satellites and stuff, fracking them out, there's only 4 types, and we all culminate together. This is why the ABs have such a hard time in this world, because y'all don't get us, because we have both. And there's not very many of us, but we're the plasma on the planet. Now, B has little antennas, but it doesn't like A, and its little antennas are different than A's antennas because they're going to be more static charged. So with the B's, you're gonna, and even if you're O, but you come from lines, and this is a lot of like royal lines and things like that, are gonna have more B in them, but they were made from A, alpha, not beta. Adam and Eve. O blood. Now, okay, so we have A and we have B. Now, over time in this big bubble, those of us who were that were here the longest with the A's and B's, and that were in those family lines, and this is why, the Joshua babies and all that in the Holy Grail, it is the deal. It is what it is. Because you have intuition from both sides. Joshua was an AB. He wasn't an O neg. That's a lie. It's a fucking lie. Because there was no O neg when Joshua was here. AB blood is the plasma donor of the planet. Not the blood donor, the plasma donor. So AB is golden mean blood. It has to be in order to merge the 2 lines into create, because you're merging. That's why people don't like ABs, but this is the same thing that happens when you clear. This is why everyone needs to hear this, because your blood's changing. So AB makes all receptors. So AB has all the antennas, which is how we're able to decipher and throw stuff around, but only because we're getting all the information from all the A's and all the B's. So basically, we get all the information from all of y'all, and then it culminates, and then that's why we would perceive to be so smart. But it's only because of all of y'all that we're getting all the information. Each one of y'all in these various subjects in A and B are giving us all of the information to be able to put it through our knowing of B and knowing of A to make a decision now. Now, O blood was made and hybridized. And it's slick willy. There's no antennas on blood. On O blood, there's no antennas. None whatsoever. And O blood is hooked into what? Orion gates. Where's Orion? Gemini. And we're even seeing, they're doing it with Microsoft right now. Gates. There's no antennas. So, O blood, what you do when you don't even realize you do it. My son's an O positive, but they had to give me a 4 days worth of liquid mercury to have him in this dimension. Because I shouldn't have been able to have an O positive blood. Now, when they gave me the mercury, then that's what they started putting in the vaccines all over the world so that people would produce lower dimensional children. And get you hooked in a Neuralink to run you inside of a matrix. That's how tech got in our bodies. Like, we just kind of had to alchemize through it, but it was always made. Now, blood runs off plasma. So if you're an AB, which means all the A's and all the B's that make the AB, so if you're A and B, then you're powering the O. But guess what? The O doesn't have, like, you can, now look, this is, and understand that a bunch of heavy duty starseeds came in O bodies. Like, I'm not saying if you're O, you're not spiritual and that you haven't built those connections. If you have, then fucking A, you are the bomb diggity, because you came here to do it. Just like I had to take on this crazy alpha draconic energy. Some of y'all took on weird zeta energy. Like, whatever it was to get these antennas going. But we're talking about the basis of blood. And this is how, blood is like a whole bunch of, it's like a whole bunch of inner tubes on a river. And when you have blood, you don't want to let go, and you don't, like, if everyone else isn't going to do it, then you're not going to do it, because that's, but that's why you feel that way, because you haven't birthed your other intuition. And so you think that if they don't do it, then you can't do it. And y'all are different. I mean, I'm hearing a bunch of them say that about all of us right now, like this variant crap with this blood and all this crazy shit that they're trying to tell y'all. Well, they got people up there telling everybody and getting them scared about these variants and all this mess. But what that is mutation happening, because you can't stop it. We're only 4 blood types here, and the AB negatives that are holding the plasma are at my frequency now, period. This is why now everyone's getting what they would consider more mucus, but that's only because your body's vibrating so high. And do y'all remember how long it took them to convince us that somebody died of this bullshit? It took them months. It took them months to get us to believe it and print it, and then finally they did, and look what they're doing with it. Now everyone thinks that they're gonna die. Really? I mean, but this is why mosquitoes don't bite me. I'm an AB negative. They know better. My blood's too high frequency. We're all in one big bubble. So I had to say all that to start talking about RH negative. Now, this was always humans, and this is through our ascension cycle, because of those of us who just walk tribulation, and everyone that comes after will know what I speak of. When you ascend, whenever that is, if it's in this lifetime or not, you'll have to go back to one, whatever your one was, right? The thing is that if you're an if you're like, you have to realize that and you don't have to realize, but if you don't realize, then you'll have to go through it in whatever way you need to realize how you're connected into the planet, and how your different variations of blood power different things down here. Meaning, now you've got the 4 different blood types, but now we start talking about the different blendings that have all been done within the highest royal lineages, which was the major problem down here. And it started with that. Before we get into the German war and stuff, it started with the selling of queens and mixing of marriages and mixing of bloodlines on purpose, way a long time ago. Because if you have Tudor energy, which means, you are connected into the in Irish, you know, like if you're from the original Irish, like if you've gone into Earth and cleaned bloodlines, and if you do, you know what I'm talking about, or if you have a crazy gift that your energy just, you pollinate everything, like the grass grows, the flowers grow, whatever. That's because your energy now within those bloodlines has a special culmination that is attached to the original Irish line that gave their baby to become Earth. That's AB. That's why whenever you activate, then you know all that stuff, because it just naturally happens, or your life will naturally take that. You make decisions, and there's a process. There's a process to every layer. In fact, more in the etheric than down here. If you, those of us that have cleared know what you know when you pass, you know when you master something, you know there's a process. Now, because there was always there is always on this planet a family line that it started from, and then there's all the families that came after. Now, each one, when you go back and you find out that you're, because you just naturally will find out, because you'll start having to do the job of being an organic royal. Like, you'll just naturally start doing the job. Once that job is done, okay, then that's when it starts, you start embodying it, and then your reality is going to start showing you and testing you to prove that you can now be that here on land. I needed to throw that in real quick. Now, Rh negative blood is made from a twin. It's like it was made from a twin program, because we always came in twins, especially because one, you have to remember that family gave up their daughter to become Earth. This is why, even in the Irish times and all that, they would put their menstrual blood in the ground and da 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 da. But there was certain families that needed to put menstrual blood in the ground. There was certain type of blood that needed to go in the ground, not just any blood. But then everyone saw that is put blood in the ground and get something, I guess, or something like that. And then that's when it got all crazy and they started doing slaughters and stuff. You're right, because it kept, the consciousness kept calling. There was always an original reason. Now, I'm saying that because this is where the twin program came in. Because if you're in that family, like I was, then from ancient, like, because it's ancient lines, then you're basically in like a Dimitri Inanna type situation, or like an Isis Osiris, like depend, because there's so many different stories, but it's all linked into one being has to be Earth. If it's running lower timelines, if it's all ascended and it's not running any lower timelines, then no being has to be Earth, because everyone knows we're Earth, and there's enough of us that are now Earth that are blended in order to terraform and control Earth. Okay, but, and even right now, until we fully ascend, I've had to flip places, but I had to consciously flip somebody out and then flip somebody in over the past 3 years. In the Inanna Dimitri story, what they tell you is that Inanna sold out her husband when she got out. but that wasn't it. If there's going to run lower timelines for the collective, meaning everyone's not awake and somebody has to run it, then there's a being that's running it. And it's either me or him. It was always either me or him. See, this is why this machine had to stop. And this is why Masons gave up certain brothers. And this is why family lines, like, especially if you're in the 13th family, even if you don't know you are, like, if you don't have any girls or any boys, that's because a long time ago your line sold off that for something. But then the thing is, everyone forgot and no one put an end to it. That's all that happened down here on earth. Everyone just started a bunch of shit and they didn't finish it, and no one knew what the original reason was because everyone forgot. Because we all sold ourselves out. We did. It was an experiment. We blew it up. We did. Like, we did. We all did. Time to sweep up and start over. Now, understand that twin program, like, because somebody was always being earth now, and I'm talking about, these are, because this is Venetian time, like, this is because I'm Venus, right? I had all the timelines from this. Well, then what started happening is more twins started coming. And a lot of that was because just because of pure nature. Even a lot of the babies, even with the Rh negative fact, because I'm still getting to Rh negative, even the babies that are born now, and then maybe one of them doesn't live, but the other one does. It's because it really is two energetics that are being formed in a placenta in order to make a new vibrational being, because it's all been what it's about here. It's all been getting the masculine and the feminine, getting a human body to where it's crysted, it's connected to here, so that you're getting your full thing, so you're a walking 0-point creator being, which is where we're at AB. It's available. So we just need more people doing it, more beings doing it, and it's tricky, and we're learning. We're learning. So the twins and the whole German thing. Okay, now let's get back to blood. So I've already told y'all there's only 4 blood types. Now, as a race, you were clearing your own blood. So the A's were clearing their A line, the B's were clearing the B's, the O's were clearing, well, see, the O's aren't clearing, because the O's are only attached into the AB. So really, the A's and the B's were cleaning the O's, but the O's were the ones putting the arm around everybody, telling them that you can't go anywhere, but you're powered from our consciousness and you exist because of our consciousness. I'm sorry, it's true, but then you're telling us that we can't do anything, but you're existing off us because there's more of you, but you were made to be more of you on purpose to put you in a gate. Now, understand this all had to replicate in this timeline because it happened this way before. We had to have cloning. We had to have all that because humans were originally made that way to begin with. Now, when you come into, so since we were going down because we were supposed to be going up, the evolutionary count, it's like a tree. The whole bubble of us in the human bubble had to be ready to ascend. The whole bubble of the O race has to be ready to like it. You can't. It works together as one. This is why my last video was so pissed. I'm just tired of it. So when you come into this dimension, okay, you're a light being. Well, when you come into dark, what happens? You see light, but then you see dark, because the lighter you are, the higher density your soul is. When you come here, you're gonna deal with so much shit before you get it, like my life, right? I mean, we've done, like, the higher being you are, when you get here, you're gonna deal with more stuff, okay? So what was happening is that when there was just A and B blood, when there was just A and B, right, then if B was running higher frequency, then A was clearing it. You see what I'm saying? Because they work together. So you were only clearing your own line. Well, then when we started mixing lines, then that wasn't working anymore. And this is how Earth is supposed to work. It's a learning planet. This is why do unto others and it happens to you. Do unto others and it does for you. You know, and this was my big thing when I first activated, which led me to figure out what the hell, because I was a negative. I was an RH negative, and all I knew about myself was I had this rare blood, and that my whole thing with having my son, and he was artificially inseminated by a South African doctor. I knew that it was part of my soul penance to have him, literally. Was made to keep having, made to. I know some of y'all might identify with that. But whenever my company got stolen and all that, because I was just building a brand new dating site for all of y'all that actually worked worth the shit, and it had all, and I'm still building that fucker. And it has all this information in it to help us find each other and have decent relationships, right? Well, when I lost everything, I couldn't. I was on my hands and knees going, I don't understand, God. Like, what the fuck is going on down here? Like, I'm not hurting nobody. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm actually doing a whole bunch of good. So then why is this happening to me? Okay, especially after this crazy life that I've lived, because I've already lived all this crazy shit. Why is everything happening to me? Why? I mean, my family didn't want to talk to me. I don't even, my adopted family doesn't even deal with me because they think everything happens to me, even though everything just happens around me. I'm never involved in it. That's because I'm an RH negative. And what that means is that you are the highest frequency of the line. It means when you're an RH negative, it means you're clearing the line. So it means that you have blue blood. It means that when you come down, bing, then all the karma of everyone else in the race is gonna come to you first. For everybody else. That's why it was made that way. That's why O negatives are called the fallen angels and the watchers. And that's why they are the universal blood donor, because all blood was taken from them after they got trapped down here. You follow? DNA, man. DNA is not blood. Vaccine is not a vaccine. It is a DNA inhibitor that is going to shrink wrap your DNA into an even worse hybridized O cell, so you can go into some Neuralink bar and you can dine at home from your TV. But have a beautiful experience from your television. They don't want you outside of that dome. They want you in the Trump show. or Truman Show, same thing. If you're RH negative, then you know what I'm talking about. We had handlers around us. They knew who we were. They knew they were, and then once you're a negative and you're really good down here, meaning you've cleared, because you get really good at clearing people's karma. See, this is why I know how to do what I know how to do, because I'm an AB negative, and so basically I've cleared every single mass murderer in their soul, even though I don't know them, because I was set on a negative to clear all AB plasma. Now what's happening now, and see, two negatives make a positive, right? So what's happening now is if you had RH negative blood, you can basically call yourself a positive. And if you have positive blood, you basically are learning how to be RH negative really quick. Because if you're a positive, then you weren't clearing any of your own shit. Hadn't ever been. You might have been clearing your own personal karma, but you weren't clearing for the, like, it wasn't happening to you just because someone else down the street did it like a negative did. But now it will, because now you are figuring out that you need some antennas, or you haven't been using your antennas, because the negative is basically your 0 point. It's where you manifest from. You can't manifest down here if you don't have your blue blood on. If you don't realize that you're not clearing your own ancestral karma, and if you haven't cleared your ancestral lines, then whenever you get wound up in the game, in the whatever, however they wrote it on you, because if you're not creating your life, then it's written by your ancestral lines. You just don't realize it yet, because the negatives ain't cleaning it. So now whenever you come around and that event comes, because it will, because it's set on a record, because they don't know how to do anything except for what happened before. That's the good news. So this time, whenever it comes when it comes in your life, you've cleared it. So it's like you're not going to have any charge because of your grandfather's freaking whatever, and you're like, okay, man, that's cool. I'm out. Otherwise, you're not even going to realize that you're cleaning your grandpa's crap, and you're going to go fight some stupid battle in court. But it had already been done. You could have just like gone over to his house, had a peace of mind, say, okay, have consciousness about it. They can say they're going to fight you in court, but if they don't have a leg to stand on, there's no consciousness to it, because you have blue blood now. See, what everyone is, and when I say everyone, I mean the ones who wrote this crazy crap up here with the bloodline stuff, that know everything I'm talking about and have been all about your multidimensional psychology, trying to figure out what your genes are, what your DNA is, how you think. They did that so that they can know how to write your shit to make you panic and freak out, or make you do whatever the hell they want you to do in this blood thing, because it's always how it was done before. This time, whenever they came to do it, none of it clicked, because we were so clear. That's why we've been healing. But the rest of the world can't have yogurt and shit now and think it's done. No, the washing machine has been turned off. There is no more Washington. That's why they're all moving to Florida, because it's a 5-5 key, and they know it. There's no washing machine, no more. America is not a washing machine for everyone's energy, which is how it was if you were in this dome and blooded. You have to clean your own energy. You have to create your own energy. It sucks when you run out and someone steals all your energy. That's what we're not having here no more. So, I hope that helps. Please share. All about the blood.